What's going on, Crimson Tide fans? Chris Daughtry here with the Alabama Football Report by Chat Sports. We've got some really big news that came out this morning. The number 2 running back in this 2026 recruiting cycle, EJ Crowell, has set his commitment date now for June 26th. Now, this is an absolutely massive timeline, I think, for Alabama because it comes just a couple of days after his official visit with the Crimson Tide. He has 4 official visits set up right now anyways. Georgia on May 30th, Texas on June 6th through the 8th, Auburn on June 13th through the 15th, and then Alabama as well, June 20th through the 22nd. Now, I will also make note, Florida and Florida State are also in his top 6, but these are the official visits right now, so I would assume it would most likely come down to these couple of schools. Alabama really does seem like the top school right now to beat for EJ Crowell in his recruitment, and man, getting the number two running back in this class would be a massive, massive get for Alabama, especially the fact that he is also a top player from the state of Alabama, number 33 player overall, so he's right outside that 5-star category. They usually rank the top 32 players in the country for those 5 stars, and which is extremely impressive as well, considering EJ Crowell was a guy that was originally in that 2027 class, ended up reclassifying to the 2026 class, and still kept a pretty high ranking. Now, he also went out and he did the camps and everything like that, so scouts were able to actually see him in person still and see the growth, and, they're kind of also still projecting where he's going to be throughout his senior season. But I definitely think by the time it is all said and done, EJ Crowell will be a 5-star, does have that commitment date set now for June 26th. Now, if you guys want EJ Crowell to commit to the Crimson Tide, spam EJ in the comments section. Show him, if he ends up watching this video, that you guys want him in this class. Get down there and spam those EJs for me right now. We're going to switch it up here and talk a little bit about the expansion of the college football playoff. Ross Dillinger tweeted this morning. College football playoff executives are scheduled for a call that was earlier this morning, where many of them expect to adopt a straight seeding model for the 2025 playoffs that would feature a financial compromise, sources tell 247 Sports. Now, right before we started filming this video, Heather Dinich actually tweeted that the 12-team college football playoff will move straight to seeding, so it seems like they have made an official decision for that. Ross Dillinger went on also and talked about the current 12-team format designates the top 4 seeds to the 4 best conference champ. A straight seeding model seeds teams by the committee's rankings. So you're not going to have any of this, ridiculous, number 12 seed gets, a first-round bye. That was always ridiculous in my opinion. And also the financial compensation part's interesting as well. Financial compromise distributes the same revenue, $8 million to the 4 conference champions, even if they are not inside the top 4. So that's also, I guess, a pretty positive thing if you win your conference championship. Don't exactly know if that's going to go to NIL, to the school, to the athletic program, just in general. I guess we'll probably get more information about that as, everything really starts to shake out here. But I do think that is very notable. And, when it comes to the college football playoff expansion, I am glad that they, I guess, are now moving forward. They're not really considering it anymore. They are moving to that straight seeding. I thought it was so stupid that you had number 9 Boise State and number 12 Arizona State getting those buys in the first round of the playoffs last year. And I expected those teams to lose in the second round, and they end up losing in the second round. Now, Oregon, a little bit of a different story. I think they totally got screwed with the way things shook out for them. They were the number 1 team in the country, and they had arguably one of the hardest paths to the national championship. They had to play Ohio State, the eventual national champions, in the second round. They absolutely got blown out in that game after beating Ohio State earlier in the season. But that number 1 spot should have the easiest road to the national championship. In this new format, Texas and Penn State would have received those first-round byes instead of Boise State and Arizona State. And I think that makes a ton of sense. They were the better teams. Now, I will give Arizona State credit. They came back versus Texas and made that more of a game than it was, in the first 2 quarters of that game or something like that. It seemed like Texas was going to blow them out, but Arizona State did come back and they made that a bit of a game. So I guess shout out to them when it comes to that. But I really do like that they're going more to that straight seeding style. And we'll talk about more expansion of the college football playoffs here in just a second. But let me know what you guys think here in the comments section. Do you like the idea of straight seeding in the college football playoffs? Number 1 ranked team in the country is going to be the number 1 seed. If they go all the way to 16 teams, they're going to have the number 16 seed is the number 16 team in the country. I think that makes a whole lot more sense. But let me know what you guys think. Type Y for yes or N for no in the comments section if you guys like the idea of straight seeding in the college football playoffs. Now, we're going to continue to push this throughout Father's Day. You guys can go over to Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/Bama Polo and get their Alabama Crimson Tide Scenic Polo today. This absolutely screams Father's Day gift to me. I know my dad would probably wear the hell out of this on Saturdays. So you guys can go. It's about 50% off right now, usually about $100. I think it's on sale right now for $49.99. So you guys can get a very good deal just by going to chatsports.com/Bama Polo. That link will be in the comments section and the description of today's video. Now, they also talked about expanding of the college football playoffs. Right now, you got 12 teams. They're thinking right now it could be 14, it could be 16. But Ross Dillinger did say that probably will not happen this season. When it does happen, it'll probably happen, next season at the very earliest, but still could get pushed back a little bit further than that, which one thing about, the current state of college football that I really do hate right now is there's so much stuff up in the air, whether it comes to NIL or the transfer portal. They're talking about doing away with the spring transfer portal window, but then you also have the winter transfer portal that's going on during the college football playoffs. College football, whoever's running it right now, really needs to get a hold of things because, there should not be that we are, going through all these different things, not knowing what the future is going to be for college football. So, the current proposal that they have right now is to either go to 14 teams or 16 teams. And it seems by all the reporting that I've seen out there from, the national writers, Pete Thamel, whoever it is, seems like 16 teams is going to be the most likely thing. And with those, a possible 16-team playoff, this is how the bids are basically going to be distributed. You're going to have the SEC and the Big Ten. They want 4 auto bids apiece, so that's going to be half your playoffs is SEC and Big Ten. I don't necessarily like that. To be honest with you, I want the 16 best teams. I don't care if it's, what if the 4th best SEC team, what if the SEC's down 1 year and they're ranked number, 17, 18? You're going to put a 4th SEC team in a 16 team college football playoff. I don't think that's fair. I don't like that. I don't care about the scheduling or what conference is better or whatnot. It doesn't make any sense to me. But this is the direction that we're going, so I guess it is what it is. The ACC would get 2 auto bids. The Big 12 would get 2 auto bids. And then you would get the highest-ranked Group of 6 champion and then 3 at-large teams as well. Now, when it comes to the SEC and the Big 10, there have also been discussions about the SEC going to a 9-game conference schedule, and there's also been discussions about a possible SEC tournament that I think could be kind of fun. You play your last game of the regular season, and then the next week, you have a 4-team SEC championship playoff, which normally it wouldn't affect the schedule at all because normally you would have that week off for the Army Navy game, and then you would have the very next week is normally the SEC championship. So it wouldn't really affect the schedule. And I think, kind of what I've seen from that, it seems like those 4 teams are going to make the playoff. Really just whoever wins the SEC championship, that kind of mini tournament, if it were to happen, would kind of affect that seeding process. So how many teams would you guys prefer to make the college football playoffs? Is it 14? Is it 16? Let me know what you guys think by typing whatever you guys think down in the comments section of today's show. Now, Nick Saban, obviously, he's been really prominent when it comes to the discussion of college football right now. This is what he had to say a while back about the college football expansion. He said, back in the day, I was never for expanding the playoffs. Preach it, Nick. because I thought bowl games were really important to the history and tradition of college football. But now that we have the expanded playoff, bowl games have taken a less significant role. So I think expanding the playoffs and having as many teams involved as we can without playing too many games for the players, that's a little bit of a concern. It's probably a good thing. And I do think that is very notable that you don't want this to really go to a 19, 20 game college football schedule when you're talking about going all the way to the national championship game. I think that's too many games. And then you're also talking about the timeline there. You're going into the spring semester at that point. And that's, you're talking about school schedules, and then you also have the winter transfer portal window. It can get really messy if you really start adding too many teams. Now, Matt Rule was also asked about the expansion of the college football playoffs, and he kind of said this with a grain of salt. He kind of said it jokingly, but there is one thing that I want to touch on here. He said, the more spots, the better, man. Make that thing 40 and let's go. I think, again, you're talking about a league that we play 9 conference games where some others play 8. I think that puts you at an automatic disadvantage. What Matt Rule didn't take into consideration there was a lot of teams in the SEC, especially in Alabama, they play 8 conference games right now, but then there's also 2 other games throughout the schedule that they put another Power 4 team in. Alabama's playing Florida State and Wisconsin. Can't necessarily say that Nebraska's doing that even with a 9-game conference schedule. On3 put this together. This is what it would have looked like last year for a hypothetical 40-team college football playoff that they put together with last year's ESPN FPI. You got Alabama there as the number 4 seed. Look, at the end of the day, he said it as a joke, so take it with a grain of salt. But it's just too many games. It's way too many teams. You're getting into that. You're going to be playing college football in February at this point. It doesn't really make any sense. But like I said, he said it as a joke, so don't take it super serious. But I wanted to throw that up there because, at the end of the day, it is a fun discussion to talk about. Make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. We'll continue to update you guys on recruiting, whatever happens with the, House versus NCAA settlement, anything that could affect Alabama football. We will keep you guys updated. Make sure you guys hit that sub button, youtube.com/@RollTideTV.